All right, what is going on, you guys? I've got my E36 here. We're in my garage, and we're about to get into something a little bit different. As you guys know, my car is all sorts of different colors. All the panels are all fucking different, especially after that one crash. I've been wanting to paint it. I've been meaning to get around to paint it or get it painted at some point. And I figured maybe I could just paint it myself. I wanted to try it out. I feel like it would just be best if I learned how to paint my own car. It's a drift car. At some point, either I'm going to want to change the color, or I'm going to get another body kit, or I'm going to replace some panels and I'm going to want to paint it again. Pretty much, I bought myself a compressor. I've got this airline. I've got sander right here. I've got a shit ton of tape, a shit ton of plastic and paper, and pretty much we're just gonna start taking this thing apart, taping stuff up, get it ready to get sanded, and go from there. I'm probably not gonna get it finished all in one video. This is probably gonna be split up in a couple different sections. I can really only get to this on the weekends. So I'll probably be posting this, and then for next weekend, we'll continue where we left off and so forth. Sebastian should be coming by here in a little bit. I'm gonna start pretty much just taking off the headlights. I already took off some other stuff. I took off the tail lights already. I took off the rear bumper. The rear bumper, the side skirts, and the front bumper, I'm gonna be painting separately. So we'll sand those down with the car and all that stuff. But I'll probably end up painting the whole body kit first, so I can kind of see where I'm at with how to paint and all that stuff. They're gonna kind of be like my little test subjects. And then after that, once I get the hang of it, we'll continue to paint the car and yeah, go from there. It's gonna be a fun process. It should be a little bit interesting. It's gonna be a learning curve for me especially. I know paint is a big patience type of ordeal with it, and I don't have a ton of patience. It's gonna test me a lot, but we'll get it done. We'll see how it goes. I'll tell you guys exactly how much I spent to get this whole setup. I know some of you guys might want to paint your own cars yourself. Some of you guys might want to paint a body kit or something yourself. And I went out of the way to get this air compressor, get air hose, get the right tools. And in the end, we'll add it all up together and see what the cost was for me to paint my car myself, or how it would be for you guys to get it painted yourself. At least for the air compressor and all that stuff, you only need to buy once. Once you buy all these tools, that's pretty much just the only time you're gonna need to buy it. In the future, it's just gonna be all paint and sandpaper and stuff. At first, it is a little bit expensive, but especially if you want air in your garage or whatever, it definitely comes in handy for other stuff, other tools. I'm gonna start taking this stuff kind of apart on the E36, start taping stuff up. We'll go from there. Alright, so pretty much everything that needs to be removed before taping everything up has been removed. Up front, I took off the headlights, turn signals, grills, front bumper. I'm gonna try to tape off everything so I don't get any overspray anywhere. I'll probably tape over the engine bay and put some plastic over it and stuff. The side markers taken off, side skirts taken off, mirrors taken off. The door handles, I'm just gonna tape over it as best as I can because these door handles are such a pain in the ass to like remove and put back together. They'll break on you. Rear bumper has been taken off, tail lights taken off. I'm just gonna get a heat gun and take that badge off. I'll pull this off and I'll just tape this up as best as I can. It's definitely gonna be a fun little process. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, I live in an apartment. This is kind of a small garage. I try to make it work as best as I can. And This air compressor is, I don't want to say it's too loud, because when I step out into this hallway over here, it doesn't sound too crazy, but the actual sander itself, this thing is fucking loud. Like, if you guys know air tools, obviously you know it gets a little loud, so let's hope nobody complains or anything over here. But I mean, drift stuff, car stuff, we gotta do what we gotta do. I don't think I talked about it yet at all, but what I'm gonna be doing for this paint job. So obviously, as you guys know, I got all these black panels and stuff, black hood, fenders, doors, rear bumper, and trunk. So I'm painting the car black, but I want to make it kind of cool, kind of like stand out, kind of have some style to it. In my head, this is what I want. I've told a couple people, and some people say yes, some people say no, but in the end, it's my car. I'm gonna do whatever I want to it, and since I'm painting it myself, if in the end I don't like it, then I could just go ahead and do it again or fix it however I want. But pretty much, I'm gonna be painting the whole car black, obviously. I'm gonna be keeping the A-pillars, the roof, and the C-pillars silver. So, I don't know if you guys can kind of get like an image in your head, but everything's gonna be black except the roof. It's gonna be like a little bit of two-tone action going on. I'm gonna try to tape as best as I can from here to like right here. I'm gonna try to make a smooth line, try to make it as good as possible. Obviously, this is my first time painting. It's just gonna be as best as I can. In my head, I feel like it's gonna look good, so I'm just gonna do it. Obviously, I love black cars. Black cars are sick, but I kind of want to make the car stand out a little bit, I guess. And I feel like the two-tone would look so good with just the silver roof and pillars. Just take a moment right now to just kind of like imagine it. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be doing. And in the end, I hope it looks pretty sick. But other than that, I guess let's just start taping stuff up right now. All right, so I'm about maybe like an hour into working on this. I have just like the front end and the engine bay taped up. I just wanted to get as much as this stuff taped up so I don't get as much overspray or dust or any of that stuff in the engine bay or on this front right here. I ended up taking off that nose panel because I figured I can just spray it off of the car when we're doing the front bumper, side skirts, and rear bumper. It might be a little bit easier since it's kind of like a flimsy little piece. So this front part is taped up. Next, I'm gonna start taping all around here so I can kind of tape off the roof. And I'm probably gonna tape off the door handles right now too. And I took off this door trim right here. And if you're an E36 person, you know these little trim pieces always break off. I'll pull these off and I'll get a degreaser and kind of clean this whole area off. This is kind of time consuming. Just doing this front end part took me like an hour, hour and a half. So that's pretty fun. All right, so I pretty much got everything on the E36 taped off. The whole front right here. I got all the tape around the roof and A-pillar, C-pillar, all that stuff is all taped off. I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to actually put plastic on it and stuff because I bought the wrong plastic. I got the door handles taped off. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And there's Sebastian. Yeah, there's not too much going on really. Since I'm not painting the roof, it kind of cuts down what I have to paint by a lot. I think I'm gonna stop right here though. It's pretty late. I'm gonna wait to sand tomorrow during the day since it is really loud. Hopefully we don't run into any issues or anything, but yeah, that should be it. All right, so it is the next day right now. I'm down in my garage. I have the E36 all taped up. I already know where I'm gonna be sanding at and everything. I separated everything. It's daytime right now. Perfect time to make some noise. I'm just gonna get the sander set up. I bought a face mask as well. If you're doing stuff like this, sanding, painting, all that stuff, definitely wear a face mask because you don't want to die. Let's get to it. I got some plastic over here to cover my stuff from all the dust. I've got a fan set up out over there next to the garage door. Hopefully it can throw some of the dust out, but also this sander, it came with a little like dust collector thing. So we'll see if that keeps the dust down a little bit. I'm gonna hit it with 400 grit. All the videos I've been watching, usually they sand it all down with like 400. This will be the first sand of the car. Let's see how it looks. Alright, I just wanted to show you all that first little go at it. You can see how loud the sander is and the compressor, but it's daytime right now. Hopefully I'm not bothering too many people, but fuck it. We gotta do what we gotta do. So I'm gonna throw this in a time lapse real quick, throw on my mask, and we're gonna get to work. Fuck it. So we got the car kind of like halfway sanded down. I took a little bit of a break. I was starting on the trunk right now, but I finished up this piece as good as I could. I got the quarter all sanded down, the door, fender, hood, and then the passenger side fender as well. I'm kind of going around in like a circle like this. The only thing that I'm gonna have to go back on is on the edges. I have sandpaper and I'll be wet sanding the edges, just because of the actual sander itself, the air sander. If you get too close to those edges, it'll just like take the paint right off to the metal. So I'll go back and do that. And then I have some spots to primer, like right here that has bare metal that I was showing. I'll primer that. Right here, I'll primer that. And just like other small spots like that. I'll finish sanding up the rest of it. I'll do some primer, and then probably after that, I'm gonna go over it one more time with 400 grit. Right now I'm doing 320, and then I'm gonna go over it once again with 400 everywhere. And yeah, that should be it, but let's continue with this process. All right, so I just finished sanding the entire car with 320 grit. So I kind of did my first little run through of it. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna clean off all this dust, and I'm gonna do a quick wipe down. I've got some microfiber towels here, and I've got some degreaser and some water here. See what spots I did miss that I can get with the sander. And after that, we'll move on to spraying some primer on any exposed metal, And then what's left after that is just sanding down with 400 all around again, and that should be pretty much it. All right, so I just wiped down the car. I used the blowgun to kind of just blow off whatever dust I could. Wiped it down with a microfiber towel and some water and degreaser. And you can kind of see now there's not dust everywhere. I'm gonna look for just areas that need more sanding and sand it a little bit more, and then try to primer some areas. And yeah, that should be it. Hopefully it's that simple. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, let's get into it. All right, so I just got finished wet sanding a little bit around the car. I'm pretty tired. I think I'm gonna come to a stopping point right now. I pretty much got the hood all done, wet sanded and sanded. Everything looks pretty good. And then this driver's side fender, I got it wet sanded and everything. It looks pretty good, all the edges and stuff. All I'm gonna have left for next weekend is gonna be just wet sanding the rest of the car, and then I will be applying primer on any bits of exposed metal or anything like that. I'll be adding primer all around, and then after that I'll just be sanding down the primer a little bit, try to smooth out any other little imperfections and stuff, and yeah, and then it should be ready for paint. I'm pretty sure for next weekend I'm just gonna continue wet sanding and primer, and then the following weekend we'll actually get to paint it, because this process actually took a lot. Friday, actually, I went and picked up the air compressor and all that stuff, and I set some of it up that day, and then Saturday I set up the rest of it. And also Saturday I was kind of taping up the car, and I didn't actually get to sand. And today, which is Sunday, that's when I actually started sanding the car down and everything. So it kind of took me all weekend to kind of get set up and everything and start actually sanding. But for next weekend, I'll be able to just jump right into it and continue. I'm sure I'll be able to finish wet sanding the whole car and doing primer and just getting it ready to actually spray that following weekend. I know this video is probably going to be a little bit boring, but if you guys have done any painting yourself or anything like that, please add in the comments if you see anything that I'm doing wrong, or any tips or anything like that, or maybe for when I'm actually gonna paint or anything. If you guys have any tips, let me know. This is the first time I'm ever doing anything like this, so I'm just kind of learning as I go. I'm watching YouTube videos and stuff. And also, if you've never painted a car before or anything, and you're just kind of watching this to see if you could do it yourself, I mean, I'm kind of doing it, so if I can do it, I'm pretty sure anybody else can. And I kind of hate doing stuff like this with paint and everything because I'm really impatient. I've painted wheels and stuff before, just spray painting, and even then I get impatient with the sanding and all of that stuff. And I'm really trying to take my time here. I want to do it as best as I can, and I know it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to come out like a badass show car paint job or anything like that, and I know that, but also I'm going to try to do as best job as I can with what I have. So I'm trying to be a little bit more patient. I'm trying to actually take my time with it. I'm in no rush really. Other than that, I think that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy these next couple of videos of me just painting this. I know it's a little bit different, but once this car gets painted and it's put back together and everything, literally I'm gonna be doing as much drifting as I possibly can. I've been wanting to hit events since the beginning of this year, but I don't want to hit any sort of drift events until this thing is painted. I just look at the car every time and see the mismatched panels, and I just kind of get annoyed at it, and I don't want to really take any pictures, do that many videos and all of that stuff, because I just don't like how it looks personally. But once it's painted, we'll be back out there drifting. We'll be back out there going to events. I'm gonna try to hit as many events as possible once this thing is done. And I've got a ton of other stuff coming for the car. Like, I've got this exhaust right here waiting to get put on. I know it's kind of messy over here. And then once that's done, I'm gonna be buying wheels. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of other stuff. So please just bear with me. I know this process is kind of boring, kind of slow, but I'm sure it's gonna pay off, and I'm happy I'm actually doing it myself, because I was in the midst of either sending it off to somebody or somewhere, and I didn't know whether I wanted to do it myself. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep drifting. Even if it's not with this car, or even if I get another car or anything, I'm gonna be drifting a lot. I'm gonna buy body kits, I'm gonna destroy panels, I'm gonna wanna repaint stuff. So at the end of the day, I think it's best for me to at least just learn how to paint and try to just do it myself, because obviously these cars get destroyed. I'm gonna have to replace panels at some point. I'm gonna wanna paint matte shit. And now that I have the equipment here myself to do it, hopefully in the future, hopefully that doesn't happen, but if it does, I already know kind of what I'm doing, you know. But that's how I see it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next weekend.